Johnny Depp is being walked off the stage. He's not shouting. He's not angry. But the look in his eyes says everything. Security flanks him on both sides. But he's not resisting. He walks slowly, head high, jaw set, as if this is exactly how he planned to leave. Behind him, Jimmy Kimmel stays frozen in his chair, not making eye contact, just staring at the desk in front of him. His hands rest on a shattered fake whiskey bottle, a prop that was supposed to be funny, but now just looks cheap and out of place. There's no music, no applause, just a strange, uncomfortable silence. The cameras keep rolling, but no one's sure what to do. Someone in the audience coughs. That's the only sound you hear. This wasn't some wild outburst. This wasn't a celebrity losing control on live TV. What just happened wasn't loud. It was cold, controlled, and impossible to ignore. Because Johnny Depp didn't just walk off a talk show, he walked out of a trap. It started like any other interview. Depp was invited to talk about his work with young artists, a quiet, personal project he rarely talks about. The kind of thing that shows who he really is behind the scenes. He wasn't expecting praise, but he definitely wasn't expecting what came next. Instead of talking about art, Kimmel pulled out a fake headline. A photo that had been photoshopped to make Depp look like he destroyed an art studio. Covered in paint, looking reckless. It was a complete lie, and Depp knew it. He tried to steer the conversation back. He stayed calm. But Kimmel wouldn't stop. Every time Depp answered, Kimmel had another fake prop ready. Another headline. Another joke that didn't feel like a joke. The audience started to shift. They laughed at first, but then they didn't. You could feel it change. It wasn't entertainment anymore. It was something darker, something mean. Depp didn't snap. He didn't scream. He didn't storm off. He sat there, stared straight at Kimmel, and told him what he was doing was wrong. And when Kimmel didn't stop, that's when Depp stood up. Not as a man who lost control, but as a man who decided he'd had enough. That's the moment we're in now. Depp is walking off, not because he lost, but because he refused to play the game. People will twist the story. They'll say he cracked, under pressure, that he couldn't take a joke. But they won't tell you how Kimmel baited him, how everything was set up to humiliate him, how it wasn't an interview, it was a setup. And Depp? He didn't take the bait. He flipped it. But how did it even get to this point? Why would a Hollywood host risk so much just to go after one guest? What happened behind the scenes? And why is everyone talking about it now? This is the real story. And it starts way before that walk-off stage. Hit subscribe to see how. Truth cuts deeper than comedy. Who really lost control in this showdown? 2 weeks before the interview, a story hits the internet. The headline is loud, bold, and hard to ignore. Johnny Depp wrecks art studio in late-night rampage. It spreads fast. Within hours, social media picks it up. People start posting memes, fake eyewitness accounts, and blurry pictures. The photo at the center of it all shows Depp, covered in paint, staring wild-eyed at the camera. The image looks off him, but no one seems to care. It's a lie. The photo is fake. The story never happened. But none of that matters. Once it's out there, the damage is done. Depp doesn't respond. No statement, no press conference, no denial. His team advises him to wait it out. He agrees. He's been through worse. He knows how these things work. Lies make headlines, truth gets buried. But something about this one feels different. At the time, he's working quietly on something that actually matters to him. A small, personal art mentorship program. He's been visiting young artists, holding workshops, giving them guidance and space to grow. No cameras, no press, just real time with real people. That's where his focus is, that's where his heart is. So he lets the story sit. He thinks people will move on, but they don't. The internet doesn't forget, and it doesn't forgive, even when the story is fake. The tabloids double down. New sources come out of nowhere. A supposed assistant claims Depp was out of control. An anonymous neighbor says he heard things breaking. None of it is real. But that's the thing about lies. Once they start, they take on a life of their own. The most painful part isn't the headlines. It's that something good, something meant to help others, is now being dragged through the mud. The studio he worked with is getting calls. People are backing out of the next workshop. Young artists he promised to mentor are suddenly caught in the middle. That's when Depp realizes he can't stay quiet. His team reaches out to set the record straight. Not to fight, not to argue, just to clear things up. A few outlets agree to issue small corrections, buried at the bottom of articles. One late-night show says they want to help tell his side of the story, Jimmy Kimmel Live. The invitation sounds honest. They say it'll be a calm segment, no surprises, just a chance for Depp to speak on the mentorship program, the fake headlines, and what he's been working on. He's cautious, but he says yes. He's not doing it to fix his image. He's not doing it for ratings. He's doing it for the artists who got caught in the fallout. He's doing it because sometimes silence isn't strength. Sometimes silence lets the lies win. What Depp doesn't know yet is that the lie hasn't stopped growing. It's waiting for him on that stage. At first, Jhonny Depp didn't want to go on the show. He's done with the talk show circuit. Too many times what's supposed to be a friendly chat turns into a circus. But this time felt different, or at least that's what they promised. Jimmy Kimmel's team reached out directly. They said the story had gotten out of control. They said they wanted to give him space to explain the truth. No stunts, no gotcha questions. Just a segment about his work with young artists and a chance to respond to the mess the tabloids made. Depp didn't answer right away. He sat with the idea for days. He talked to his manager, his publicist, even his lawyer. Everyone had an opinion. His lawyer didn't like it. Jimmy has a history, he said. He's smart, but he's sneaky. He'll smile at you while setting a trap. Depp knew that was possible, but he also knew how powerful a live camera could be. If he said nothing, people would believe the worst. If he stayed home, the fake headlines would be the only thing people remembered. He finally said yes. But he gave his team one rule. No prep questions, no rehearsals. If he's going to face it, he's going to face it straight. The night before, the taping, Depp doesn't sleep much. He reviews nothing. No statements, no notes, just thoughts. He thinks about the young artists he met, the ones who looked up to him, the ones now wondering if their mentor is a liar. He thinks about how easily a story can be twisted, how fast a lie can move when people want to believe it. He's not going on that stage to protect his name. He's going to protect the truth. Theor. Day of the show, Depp arrives quietly. No big entrance, no press. He walks through the back entrance with his head down and hands in his pockets. He's dressed like himself. Dark jacket, scarf, rings on his fingers. He doesn't fake a smile. For the staff, he's polite but focused. Backstage, everything seems normal. Too normal. The crew cracks jokes, the producer offers him water, and a few people say how excited they are to have him on. Depp nods, says thank you, but doesn't say much else. Hit subscribe to see how truth cuts deeper than comedy. Who really lost control in this showdown? 15 minutes before he goes on, a production assistant hands him a last-minute run of show. It includes a small section labeled Fun Segment. Studio Incident, he reads it twice, then a third time. His face doesn't change, but his mood does. He hands the paper back. Not happening, he says quietly. The assistant nods and walks off. Depp knows what that line means. This isn't just going to be about art. It's going to be about the lie. Still, he doesn't walk away. He steps out of the green room when called. The applause is loud. The cameras roll. Jimmy Kimmel is already smiling, too wide. Depp walks toward the chair knowing he's not walking into a conversation. He's walking into a setup. The audience cheers as Jhonny Depp walks onto the stage. The lights are bright. The energy is high, but his face stays calm. He doesn't wave or put on a show. He just nods once, sits down, and crosses his legs. His posture is relaxed, but his eyes scan the set. He's looking for something. Or maybe he's just making sure he doesn't miss a move. Jimmy Kimmel greets him like an old friend. "Jhonny Depp, ladies and gentlemen," he says with his usual big grin. "A legend, a rebel, and apparently an interior decorator?" The crowd laughs. It's meant to be a joke, a light jab about the fake story. Depp just gives a tight smile. He knows what's coming. Kimmel starts with the art workshops. He asks how the idea started, how it feels to work with young artists, and what kind of talent he's seen. Depp answers honestly. His voice is soft but steady. He talks about how art saved him, how teaching others helps him stay grounded. He shares a quick story about a girl who made a sculpture out of old camera parts. He smiles a little when he says her work is better than his. For a moment it feels real. No games, no drama. Just a man talking about something he cares about. Then Kimmel leans in. "So," he says, still smiling, "speaking of art studios, what really happened with that whole paint explosion thing?" The audience laughs again. Depp doesn't. He stares at Kimmel for a second, then says calmly, "Nothing happened, it was fake." Kimmel shrugs. Sure, he says. "But I mean, was it a quiet night or just a really creative one?" During this intense live moment, the atmosphere changes completely. Kimmel, trying hard to keep control, pulls out several props to make his points more dramatic and convincing. First, he holds up a fake bottle of whiskey, clearly meant to remind everyone about Depp's past struggles or to suggest that alcohol is behind the problems. Then, he flashes printed headlines, trying to show that the story is all over the news, and that Depp has been involved in controversies. Finally, he even waves around a fake eviction notice, trying to imply Depp has had real trouble because of his actions. These props are supposed to add weight to Kimmel's argument, to make it look like he has proof on his side. But Depp doesn't react the way Kimmel expects. Instead of getting angry, defensive, or overwhelmed, Depp stays calm and collected. He listens carefully to every claim and answers with clear facts, breaking down each lie bit by bit. It's almost like he's untangling a knot, carefully showing where Kimmel's story doesn't add up. Depp's calmness makes him look honest and strong. He doesn't need to raise his voice or get emotional because the truth is on his side. Watching him, the audience can feel that he's confident and steady, even when the situation is tense. As Depp dismantles Kimmel's accusations, something begins to happen to Kimmel himself. His usual boldness starts to fade. His voice becomes shaky, and you can hear it crack. He loses some of his energy and control over the crowd. The audience, who at first was with Kimmel, now starts to feel uncertain. They begin to see that Kimmel's strong words and dramatic props don't really stand up to Depp's calm and clear answers. The mood in the room shifts. What started as a fight to prove who was right turns into a moment where truth seems to shine through. This on-air breakdown shows a big change in the balance of power between the two. Kimmel's aggressive tactics fail to shake Depp, and instead, they backfire. Depp's steady approach wins respect, and the audience begins to question who is really telling the truth. The tension is no longer just about the words said, but about who the viewers believe in. It's a powerful moment that feels real and raw, making the showdown more than just a usual TV argument. By the end of this part, it's clear that Kimmel's strategy is falling apart. The crowd is no longer with him, and Depp is the one standing tall. This shift is important because it shows how truth can cut through even the most dramatic performances. It reminds everyone watching that staying calm and honest, even under pressure, is often the strongest way to fight back. The tension on air isn't just for show. It's a real battle where the truth begins to win. Hit subscribe to see how truth cuts deeper than comedy. Who really lost control in this showdown? At the climax of the heated moment, Depp delivers a line that hits hard. "This show's a lie, and I'm done." Those words hang in the air, cutting through the noise like a sharp knife. It's not just a simple exit line. It's a clear message that he's no longer willing to play a part in what he sees as a false show. Depp doesn't storm off in anger or frustration. Instead, he stands his ground firmly, calm but strong. His voice carries the weight of someone who has had enough of the tricks and the drama. Kimmel, clearly caught off guard and starting to lose control, calls security. The tension spikes as everyone waits to see what will happen next. But Depp doesn't back down or let the situation push him around. He doesn't run, nor does he look scared. Instead, he remains steady, showing that he's in charge of his own actions. By standing his ground, Depp takes back the power in the room, flipping the situation on its head. It's no longer about who's hosting the show or who's throwing accusations. It's about Depp making a statement with his silence and presence. When Depp finally leaves, it's on his own terms, not because anyone forces him out. This is key. He walks away not as someone defeated, but as someone who refuses to be part of a setup he believes is unfair. His exit is quiet but powerful. It sends a clear signal that sometimes walking away can be the strongest move of all. The whole scene changes with that one moment. What seemed like a losing fight turns into a statement of control and dignity. This exit leaves a heavy silence in the studio and among the viewers. People feel the weight of what just happened. Depp didn't just leave the show, he left with the upper hand. His final line and calm exit show that true power doesn't always come from loud arguments or dramatic scenes. Sometimes it's the quiet refusal to play a game that wins the day. The moment stays with the audience long after the cameras stop rolling, proving that sometimes the best way to win is simply to walk away with your head held high. After the chaos on stage, the mood changes completely. Kimmel sits back at his desk looking worn out and defeated. Around him lie the broken pieces of the props he had used to make his point. Fake whiskey bottles, eviction notices, and crumpled papers. The energy that filled the room before is gone. There is no applause, no laughter, just a heavy, uncomfortable silence. It feels like everyone is waiting, unsure what to say next. The quiet is powerful. It shows how different things are from the usual talk shows where the host always has the last word. This time, something bigger happened. Jhonny Depp didn't lose his temper or shout back. Instead, he stayed calm, and in doing so, exposed the truth beneath all the noise. His silence and steady presence spoke louder than any argument could. The fight wasn't about drama or loud voices. It was about standing strong without losing control. This moment leaves a clear message. Sometimes the strongest move is not to fight back with anger, but to expose the real story with calm and honesty. It's a reminder that true power often comes from holding your ground quietly rather than making a scene. The whole room feels the weight of what just happened, and viewers at home are left thinking about who really won this battle. Want more stories where reputations are on the line? Subscribe now and tell us, did Jhonny Depp just win the war with silence?